The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Welcome to this brief 30-minute webinar. I'm just going to give everyone a couple of minutes to finish their registration. I'm a little bit excited, as you can tell, because I just started this presentation and forgot to unmute myself. So only the second attempt. Whilst we're waiting for everybody else, I do have a quick poll that I'd like you to answer for me, please. Quite simply, roughly how many paper bundles does your team create on a monthly basis? If you can answer that for me, that would be great. Okay, we'll just wait one more minute and then we'll begin the webinar. Right, okay, thank you for answering that poll and let's begin the remainder of the webinar. So this webinar is based on cutting through the pink tape, the meteoric rise of e-bundling, and really what's been happening over the last 12 months in regards to electronic bundling, how things are happening, and why it's gaining significant traction. Before we get going, just a little bit of housekeeping for you on the webinar controls. So at the top, you can actually minimize the webinar controls if you like. If you have any questions, you can type them at the bottom, or you can also raise your hand and we will endeavour to help you out. I do have a colleague of mine working with me, so if you do have any questions, we will answer them in real time as quickly as we can. And if they're interesting, then we'll probably share them with the group as well. So the first thing I want to go through is really what is electronic bundling, to set a definition for us. As far as I'm concerned, electronic bundling, or e-bundles, is the ability to take a series of file types. In this example, I'm showing you things like PowerPoint, Outlook or MSG attachments, Microsoft Word, and various others. And what we're able to do is to select those into a program, and then to convert them into a PDF or a series of documents, which we can then use later on. That, as far as is what I'm considering is an electronic bundle. Now, let's just take a step back. I think it's about 12 months ago now, Sir James Mumby came out, and I mean, it's all over the internet, and I've linked to it in this presentation, which will send you a copy. But it became a not a very happy man, courtesy of someone sending him a bundle, which was rather large, and he subsequently came out with some comments saying that it wasn't acceptable to be creating these bundles of such a size. We all know about these bundles, how long they take, and the costs involved with them. And again, we'll send this to you, and you can see the full verdict. But what he basically came out with is that anyone who creates a bundle which is over the standard terms, then they'll be turned away. Now, as far as we're concerned, okay, that's not really the most exciting bit. But what Sir James came out with has actually put a spotlight onto what is a pretty inefficient process when you consider electronic bundles against their paper-based counterparts. And I mean, we'll cover this slide, but essentially what he's come out and said is that, the paper bundles are not the most efficient way to create a bundle for court, and sort of advising that people should stick to the limits. But the interesting thing is that this has already been adopted and changed over the last few years through the work of South London Legal Partnership and other local authorities. I mean, we've seen it being used in Brighton, Bury, Cardiff, and Lambeth, and various others, because they've already identified that paper-based bundles, which are going to the court or to other people, there's a serious amount of cost attached to those, but they're also very inefficient. Now, unlike a private practice, local authority, it's not like they can go and ask for more money from the MD. They have a finite budget, and they've got to work with it. So when those budgets started getting cut a few years ago, they really needed to come up with a way to be more cost effective. And so whilst Mumby's come out in the last 12 months and said this is unacceptable, what he's already doing is reiterating what a lot of local authority legal teams have already been working on over the last 2, 3, 4 years. In this case here, Paul Phelan, who's the legal practice manager for South London Legal Partnership, which covers Merton and a few others, has already been using it and creating electronic bundles, which have then been going out to the courts and so on. But the thing to remember here is that whilst this has all happened in the courts and then into local authority, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. What do I mean by that? Well, e-bundles don't just have to be used for court bundles. We've seen them being used for deal bibles, board reports, training manuals. We've seen them being used in coroners, and even marketing deliverables. I use them myself to send a report to Tim every month, collating all the information, because all we're really doing here is collating a series of documents of various types and creating an index at the start. So we don't just have to use this for litigation teams or for the courts. We can actually use this across the board. Now, why have local authorities such as Lambeth and Cardiff, why have they turned to electronic bundling? Well, I've already mentioned that they're using it because of the restrictions that they have in place based on their budget. But actually, there's a whole host of other reasons around it that that make electronic bundling a better process. Firstly, it is faster. Just purely the process of creating paper-based bundles, it is a time-based process. It does take a lot of time to create a bundle if you've ever created one. Having created them myself in the past, there is a whole wealth of things that can go wrong at every opportunity. Doing the scanning or the copying, the using the photocopier for 3 or 4 hours at a time, everyone else trying to chip in because they've got stuff to do first, so you have to keep on stopping and starting when you're doing that copying process. It's just very time intensive. Obviously, electronic bundles, e-bundles, they are cheaper because there is a reduction there in storage, purely in terms of archiving or keeping the bundles on premises. They're obviously cheaper because you're not printing so many documents, but they're also more accurate and consistent because you're not having to manually be involved here. As long as the documents are scanned in to start with, then it's easier to recall the documents and to put them in the right places. And they are more secure as well. We don't have to leave lovely big bundles in a room, whether that's at the courts or whether it's in our offices. We don't have to transport them and put them in the back of our cars. So across the board, they are a bit more secure. You can also securely send them electronically so that only the intended recipient receives them. But there's also, just across this whole piece, there's a whole web of inefficiency and cost that sits underneath it, purely in taking a bundle to the court. You have to get it there in the first place. That means that someone's got to either drive it or take it there. On top of that, it's then got to be shared with the courts. It's got to have amendments made to it. There's got to be additions to the bundle, which means you've then got to go and pick it back up, add additional documents in there, probably a new index, and repaginate. So again, it's just a paper-based bundle is just an inefficient and a messy way of doing it. One of the interesting points that one of our clients has talked about in the past is that if you were creating bundles or if you were going to court, you wouldn't start with the process we have already. It's just not the way it would be done if we were starting it from scratch now. So in case of e-bundles, we're able to provide a service which is faster, it's cheaper, it's more accurate, and it is more secure. We've all seen this quote before about insanity, and this does resonate with a lot of our clients. They've seen it there, looking at it, building these bundles, building these court bundles, and it's just a very inefficient, ineffective process which we're doing day in, day out, with a huge amount of cost and time resource attached to it. And as the local authorities have noticed, they're already doing it, and I mean, that's a different topic we'll cover another day, on innovation within public sector for legal. But they're already making large strides there, and it is coming across into private practice as well. But really what we're saying here is it is ineffective, and the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, we've talked about here, I've been quite brief here, but we've talked about what an electronic bundle is. We've looked at where we've started from in the last 12 months, where the inefficiencies of electronic bundles have been highlighted in the press, courtesy of Sir James and various others as well. We know that local authority has really taken the pressure they've been under to reduce their budgets and started to use electronic bundling as one ways to safeguard, I suppose, their staff and various other financial aspects of their budget. And we've looked at really how anyone can use a bundle. What I wanted to just finally touch on was a couple of comments that have come through. One is from is from a private practice, and one is from local authority. And really, these underpin what is the point of doing all of this. Now, in this example, they've been talking about how it takes them typically 2 to 3 hours to build a bundle, whereas by using an electronic bundle, it takes them no more than 15 minutes, and they can share that electronic bundle as a PDF. They can send that to someone for comment or to be shared. I mean that's a significant time saving. Obviously, they enjoy it. They prefer it. This one I have had to tailor slightly. It was a little bit more aggressive when it came through. And effectively what they were saying is they were always getting, if you've ever built a bundle, ever built something like this, you know what it's like. There's always additional documents that are added in at the end, and how time consuming it was. And yeah, this is a bit I did have to amend slightly. It means that they have to work late, because these things always happen at the last minute. What they found by using e-bundling is that they can take the additional documents, add them into the software, and republish the bundle within minutes, meaning that they don't have to work late on a Friday. Now, I just wanted to cover this in summary, and I know I haven't taken the full 30 minutes, but I appreciate you are busy. In summary, we know that the courts are using electronic bundles. We know ourselves here at Zylpha that there are local authority legal teams that are already using electronic bundles and having great successes and strides with them. We even know that coroners are starting to use electronic bundles for their own purposes. And we know that law firms are using them as well. Again, from our point of view, we work with a high number of law firms who are using electronic bundles. We know they are a more efficient way of creating documents to be used in the court, as well as other areas. And they are growing in demand as both private practice and local authority legal teams are put under increasing pressure to manage their costs. What we also know is that the recipients of those bundles, they actually like them for a variety of reasons. But the main one that has come across in our testing is that they can be put into their own systems with relative ease. And finally, they are more secure. For a start, you can't leave an e-bundle on a bus, and you can encrypt them, share them with only the specific people, and ultimately make them a more secure way of creating bundles. Now a bit about us, Zylpha. We're based near Winchester. Just celebrated our 10th anniversary, being specialists in software specifically for the legal profession. We work with both local authority and private practice, and really our key focus is on electronic documentation and mainly automating manual processes to eliminate cost, errors, and risk. Our main product, which covers this, is electronic bundling. We have it in over 100 sites in the UK, and it's been a product that has genuinely made a difference to our clients. Many of our clients stay with us for many years. It also integrates with a lot of the case management systems out there, but we also have a standalone version as well. In terms of the next steps, for us, we do have a white paper that follows up this brief webinar. That will be sent through to you. We'll also send you a recording of this webinar, and we'll also get in touch with regards to something. We have a return on investment calculator to see whether this process is something that might be of interest, and whether it's is something that could benefit yourselves, and also to look at showcasing our electronic bundling software for you. I'm just going to see if we have any questions. How easy is it to save these to disk for storage or sending out? Thank you for the question. Yes, an e-bundle is a file. It's a PDF. So there is a variety of way of sending out. Obviously, you could send it by disk. You could send it by its own secure delivery. But yes, in terms of ease, firstly, it is very easy, and secondly, it's a lot easier than transporting a lovely lever arch file in a couple of boxes. We've still got a couple of minutes left, so does anybody else have any questions that they'd like to raise? Okay, if that's the case, if no one else has any other questions, I will. Oh, looks like someone's writing a question now.
Hi, Dave. Hi, Dave. It's Tim here. Good afternoon, everybody. I've been manning the questions for Dave. We've just had another question in about reduced bundles and the issue about how you deal with these. We call these core bundles. They do seem to be called different things in different places. In the family world, this is all part of the PD27 practice direction that's come out to try and reduce the size of a bundle. We have a feature within our bundling system that enables you to produce a reduced or core bundle. The idea with it is that you can produce a full bundle. Let's say it's 1,000 pages long, but then you've got a range of documents in there that for whatever reason you don't actually want to physically include in the bundle. We've developed a system that enables you to exclude those documents from the finished bundle but still mark them on the index, so they would still be paginated, which the practice direction requires, so you still see that the bundles exist on the index, but the items on the index that have been excluded will be marked in some way, which is up to you. You can strike them through or grey them out or mark them with an asterisk or something like that. You can then mark those documents as excluded from the core bundle, so that everyone can see that the documents exist but they're not physically within the bundle itself. So it's something we've been working quite hard on because it's all of a sudden become an issue. The practice direction came out last April, but the courts have suddenly started enforcing that across the piece. So it's something we've worked quite hard on to introduce. So effectively, we can provide you with the facility to create a full bundle or create what we would call a core bundle from the same set of documents. The core bundle is just a reduced set. That's a very wordy answer, Sarah. Hopefully that answers the question.
Fantastic. Thank you, Tim. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, I can't see any other questions coming through. So I'd just like to say thank you for your time this morning. As I previously said, I'll send a copy of this recording through together with our white paper, and then get in touch so that we can possibly show you our e-bonding system. Thanks for your time this morning, everybody. Speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.